Okay, let's go ahead and take roll call.
Mr. Cunningham,
Here.
Mr. Ballard,
Here.
Mr. Sneed,
Here.
Mr. Taylor,
Here.
Mr. Elliott,
Here.
Mr. Hilsinger.
Here. And I do not have the agenda, so.
Let me put it up. We have minutes from the September 12th executive meeting. That's the
Okay.
first item are the minutes.
So they don't have it on our screen.
It's
We
not
only,
on our
No,
screen.
hold on. But I'd have to zoom back or scoot back up.
there we go.
This is the site plans but it's just the minutes from September.
Okay.
12th.
So we need a motion to accept.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Discussion? Seeing all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. And we'll go directly to the site plans then.
You're first, Peter. Well, I put it.
Good evening, Commissioners. Before you, we have petition number 0522, Mehlville School District, R9. The zoning is C8. It's on a 4.03 acre tract on the southeast of Lemay Ferry Road, approximately 547 feet east of Will Avenue. You may remember it's in South County. And on the right side, we have an aerial. And here is a larger scaled aerial. Now we're going to quickly go through the site development plan. So here's the cover sheet. Here is the first image. This is a second site development plan with a couple more labels than that first image. Ahead of you, you have highlighted the areas that are experiencing the most development. As you may remember, this building was previously served as a medical office, but is now being used as it's proposed to be used as an administrative office. The existing structure is to remain. There are minor changes to the parking areas, the rear entrance to the building, the front entrance to the building, the front entrance from the street, and then also work on the generator. You can see in the corner with that vertical oval. And the planning department approved of all the decisions, and they meet all setback requirements.
Could you speak up a little bit, please?
Oh, sure. Can you hear me better now? So yeah, is that better?
Yes.
Perfect. This is just a grading plan, not much grading taking place with cross section. This is just a copy of the C8 ordinance. Here's our first architectural elevation. You may or may not be able to see from the label that most of the existing facade, the facade work is existing. The only major changes are to the entrance and to the signage above that entrance. Another architectural elevation. Oop, there we go. And here are images of an existing enclosure and an existing fence. And then here is the landscape plan. All of the plantings are existing. They are removing a few trees, but other than that, everything's remaining the same. And now I would like to request action, please.
I'll make a motion for approval. Second motion.
Discussion, anyone?
I just have
Go ahead.
one question. If we could go back to
Sure.
the, go back 3 or 4. Wait, hold it. These new overhead doors, do you know what the purpose of those are?
Of the overhead doors?
Mm-hmm. I would assume vehicles or something, but it's,
Will you go back to the plan sheet?
Sure.
This label says, main door and delivery. I think it's their delivery, sort of loading area.
Deliveries.
Yeah, and so you can see they're here at the rear of the,
It's the back. Mhm.
it's the rear of the structure.
Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you.
And I'm guessing their IT department's going in here.
It's administration. I can't remember that building in the front of the Mehlville campus, the learning center there, that building's.
Right.
So this is mostly administration, but then they would have, I believe, a small amount of sort of, more technical courses here, limited number of students.
Which is permitted in their C8 ordinance.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Seeing none, we got a first and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is PC 09-21, Better Living Sunrooms of St. Louis. It's a C8 covering a 1.22 acre tract on the west side of Lemay Ferry Road, approximately 50 feet north of Southcrest Way. As you recall, this site is in very far south St. Louis County. There you can see it outlined in red on the aerial. Here's a second aerial, and you can see some of the surrounding development on Lemay Ferry. This is the overall site plan with the title sheet. This is zoomed in on the site plan. As you recall, this proposal included a new storage building, a new portable sunroom display area, and a new sunroom attached to the existing residential structure that's on the site. Those two sunroom areas are outlined in red here for you. And the existing residential structure was to be reused as an office. This is the off-site sanitary plan showing the connection to the existing. This is the existing conditions at the site. It's currently just what was a single-family residence. This is the demolition plan. This is the landscaping plan. It includes an enhanced buffer yard along Southcrest Way and to the south and to the west, where it is the entrance to a single-family residential subdivision. And this is the lighting plan. Here are the architectural elevations submitted. This is the east elevation, so this would be facing Lemay Ferry Road. This is the south elevation. This is the other elevation that would be visible from Lemay Ferry. They are proposing a higher quality metal exterior. This is the north elevation. And this is the west elevation. The north and western elevations are kind of built into the hill there, and they would not be visible from the road. And so at this time, I'd like to request a motion.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Red second.
Second motion.
Discussion, anyone? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And we'll go to the next item. PC 14-22.
Good evening. Before you is PC 14-22 Quapaw Whispering Pines LLC. As you may recall, this was a request for an amended C8 to allow a medical building in this facility. The tract is about 0.59 acres and located on the north side of Olive Boulevard, approximately 200 feet west of Whispering Pines Drive. As you may recall, this site is located in mid-county. There's a larger aerial of the site outlined in red. On the site, across the parking lot is a Walgreens. The building is already existing. None of the facade is going to be changing on this facility, only the use inside. Here's just a little look at their landscape plan. So the big change we did request with this plan was to plant more Missouri native plants, which are outlined in red. Yeah. This is an overall site plan of the parcel. This is the south elevation. As I mentioned earlier, all the elevations are remaining as is. The only change you will see down the road is the actual sign for the medical office will be changed from what is currently there. This is the storefront elevation and the east elevation, the west elevation, the north elevation. This is the column detail along with the material legend. And at this time, I ask for a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
Good. Discussion, anyone? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, ayes have it. And we'll go on to PC 28-21, Jama West Properties.
PC 28-21 Jama West Properties is a C8 planned commercial district covering a 6.19 acre tract on the south side of Manchester Road, approximately 260 feet west of Dietrich Road. This site is in mid-county, and there you can see it outlined in red. From the larger aerial, you can see some of the surrounding development on Manchester. This is the title page for the site plan. This is zoomed in on the actual site, showing the new showroom and parking areas for inventory and customers, as well as they've tightened up and reduced the number of curb cuts on Manchester Road. For your reference, north is down on this site plan. This is the landscaping plan. It consists primarily of new landscaping islands throughout the site. In addition, the CA ordinance required a no disturb buffer in the rear portion of the site due to the existence of a creek. Here's the lighting plan. The CA ordinance required 16-foot light standards throughout the site. And here is the north elevation. This would be facing Manchester Road. The south elevation, as you might recall from public hearing, you can see those overhead roll-up doors are there, but they're not doing service at this site. People would just drop off their vehicles to be taken to an off-site location. This is the west elevation and the east elevation. And I believe we have the sign. Oh. So here's the proposed monument sign. And so we're recommending approval.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion for.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. And we'll go on to PC 29-21, K2M Properties.
So PC 29-21 K2M Properties is a C8 covering a 3.63 acre tract on the northeast corner of the intersection of Manchester Road and Consort Drive. This is almost directly across the street from the previous site. There you can see it outlined in red on the aerial. Here's the overall site plan and title sheet. This is zoomed in on the site. As you recall, this is an existing structure. So there are not many new site improvements. But on the northeastern part, towards the rear of the site, they have restriped the parking from 90-degree to angled parking. And they have they have marked off a portion of the parking along Manchester Road to be for inventory. This is their landscaping plan. They've maintained the existing landscaping along Manchester Road, and they've proposed new landscaping along Consort and throughout the parking lot. And at this time, we're recommending approval.
Make a motion for approval.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Bill?
Since they're maintaining the original landscaping, does it meet current,
Does it meet the current standards of the zoning ordinance? So when we reviewed this site plan, because they are proposing essentially no change to the site whatsoever, the additional landscaping, we found that requiring the installation of additional landscaping beyond what they were showing was going to be very difficult for us to enforce. So the ordinance does state that if this site was to ever be redeveloped with a more fulsome redevelopment of the site, they would have to include more landscaping. But because the site is already developed with the structure and they are doing essentially next to no work other than restriping, it's very difficult for the county to require additional landscaping.
because most of the time, I know that particular piece of property has been there a long time, and they really don't have
There's not much, especially
landscape-
particularly along
landscaping
Manchester.
there, and yet we come back and we have other developers, they change something a little bit and then they're forced to do it. And I'm wondering if that's an issue that we need to take a look at down the road.
Sometimes it's, and I concur, and sometimes it's scale of what they're doing. So sometimes the department does look at the scale and scope of the work they're doing to ensure that the requirements for landscaping are appropriate for the amount of work that they're proposing at the site. And this is one of those cases where the department did have in-depth discussions with the petitioner requesting additional landscaping. But it was, with the amount of work and through further conversations, we recommend approval as it's shown.
But for the record, we turned this down.
That is correct. So staff ultimately before this, staff did recommend denial of this petition and the commission concurred. This did go through PIC ultimately, wherein the councilman did ultimately pass an ordinance for this use. So that is how this is how it comes before the commission this evening.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the cell tower where we can't do anything with it.
Sounds like a truck parking on Baumgartner,
Yeah,
where he came back and he wanted us to waive paving after we turned him down, he went around us, so. Anybody else?
So we're just approving,
The site development plan. So this,
which
yes.
has already been approved.
The
Zoning change went.
the zoning change was
Mhm.
approved.
Okay.
So, so as the ordinance, it still gives the planning commission, ultimately does approve the site development plan. And so staff does find that, under the sort of the regulatory framework, that this does meet the C8 ordinance.
Does anyone else have a concern for that?
Well, Bill, if there's something on there, you got concern.
No, well, I mean,
I mean, on.
My-
on
my
that-
concern
on that
is we set-
landscaping, if we need to change it and have them change something, then I'll.
right, but I
Reverse
don't think
my,
we can change it to have them do, what they should be doing is more landscaping. I'm being told that we can't do that. Okay, and that'd be the only thing I would suggest that we do. So somewhere along the line, that's been approved. So why should we be asked to approve something that's already been approved? Might be a great time for you to be here, sir.
So I think procedurally, there's an option for the commission. It can approve the site development plan. It can hold the site development plan and ask staff to go back and to the petitioner and request again, say, and see whether they will voluntarily include additional landscaping. No, I think those are the two main options in front of the commission.
Okay. Just so that I understand, if we do that and they come back undoubtedly and say, we're not going to do it, then we have no other option but to approve it the way it is.
Well, I suppose your option could be to deny it, not give your approval, and then it's sort of their discretion to determine whether they want to, litigate that to see if their personal property rights are being, properly administered.
Gary?
I'm leaning toward asking for a hold on this and have you guys go back and ask them to see what they'll do.
My concern is, like Bill says, he looked at me when he said telephone towers. It sounds like one of those again. And if it is, then why do we have it?
Because we get to do site plans.
Right, so
But
the authority to
we
approve
have
site
no
plans is vested in the planning commission.
But whatever we do, is we can deny it, then still approve it. What happens?
Well, if you deny it, then it is not approved. It is at that point that, staff would essentially, they would have to, again, file suit if they found that their personal property rights are sort of, that they're not receiving the due process and approval as is, required. And in some ways, the planning commission in this way has some discretion, but your discretion is to administer the code as written.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're attempting to do. We're attempting to only bring it to you when we find that it is
If we
approvable.
put a hold on it and then that does no good and they come back, then we can offer a denial.
You can, and again, I would say I would counsel that would probably lead to litigation.
Either that or they would go ahead and give in and do what we're asking.
And then we ask the question.
Might be less
The
expensive.
question begging to be answered is, do they go for the
Put
county?
some
or go
bushes
for
in.
litigation?
The bushes are less
Yeah,
expensive.
they're less expensive than litigation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll make a motion, we put a hold on it.
Okay, we got a first and second on it.
Yeah, I'll
Withdraw,
withdraw my,
and second withdraws. So we're open for a new motion.
I make a motion, we put a hold on it and have the planning staff go back and offer them to come up with additional landscaping or a plan.
All right,
for it.
I think staff has enough direction that over the next week,
Yeah.
we can go back to the petitioner and indicate that it was held this evening and the commission's expectation for additional landscaping along Manchester Road.
Do we have a second on the motion?
Not second.
Okay, we got a first and second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, the motion is for a hold. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Anything for the good?
I think at this point, I think it's open for some conversation about how you thought that this worked. I can tell you, looking at site development plans myself, I think that there will be benefit for you all to look at them in paper. I think the bigger be seeing them. So, and I'll say that just because seeing them on these screens, it's not as clear
I
as,
agree.
I'd say these screens are not 4K. I'd say they're just.
I don't think so. They're probably
you know,
1080.
I'd say they're 1080, which makes the seeing sight lines really unclear. So I think that we will want to continue to look at site plans paper, and then maybe just for individuals that are watching, we'll still have a very, like a truncated, a much shorter version of these types of things that you can go through after you've looked at them prior to your meetings.
One of the things that I think we all experience, having done this at home on PCs for the last 2.5 years, is that the drawings on a screen are very difficult to see things that are relative to the area to where you can really see that. Is there some way, and you would refer to that as we're getting maybe public comment that would help? Is there any way we could put a double screen up here? Because the time that it's on there, my memory doesn't last that long. But if you have it over there, then you might be able to ask a little more fruitful questions about the design. I don't know if that's possible, or you know.
We can see if we can do that.
We can do, we'll see, yeah.
You know what I'm.
Yeah, I
kinda
think
gives
so.
a-
That
So
gives
that you can see the context of the area still while you're looking at the plan.
Right.
Mhm. Like a split screen, right? Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
So with the the Q4 schedule was sent out, and in switching from sort of the Q3 to Q4 schedule, we're going to have a meeting in a week from today. We'll have an executive meeting with some new business. So you will have info reports presented to you, and we will prepare a PowerPoint the same style that we have been. But do any of the commissioners think they'd like to have the document in front of them during the meeting as well, digitally? We would do a similar sort of split screen to have the document available for you as well.
One thing I will say, Mel, is that unless you have the ability to manipulate what's on the
Yourself.
screen yourself,
Mhm.
it's not, because I noticed that, like I wanted to look
And
at
we
different
could do
things.
that. We would just need to bring down some of the commissioner laptops we have, but we
Sure. This is also, I'm wondering, I think we can look at some technology sort of fixes, but maybe going back old school paper I know that, it may be beneficial. I mean, this is one of those things, we're sitting up here for the first time. I can see why paper is somewhat beneficial.
I think certainly the agenda. Do you think,
Yes,
Mr.
I think,
Hilfinger, paper agendas?
Yes, I definitely think that would have been helpful. Because I think it was like immediately sitting up here. It's just like, oh, wow, like you can't move through this agenda, right? You wanted to think it was a touchscreen, but it's not. So.
It was there, but I couldn't do anything with it unless I pulled it up on my laptop
On
or
your
something.
own.
and then-
Right.
I think the print's okay, but when you come to looking at blueprints and all that, it gets more garbled. And even if you
Yeah.
could zoom in on it, it just makes it that much worse.
Right. And sitting up here for the first time looking at those site development plans, it's one thing when I'm able to go through an entire set sheet, and then like some of those sheets, and it's just the functionality of it. It's like, it's helpful to be able to go through the sheets and see where on the site it's really going on. Because some of it was mentally detached from when we went from one sheet to the next. I couldn't tell exactly where we were. And I'm, right. So I think that I can see why that'll be beneficial for folks to look at.
Anything else?
Circling back to the previous petition, say it does go to litigation, what happens in that process?
You know, that is, I'm glad I have a representative from the county counselor's office here that could answer any sort of specific litigation questions. But if the county denied the issuance of permits, because really what the commission is doing is it is providing the zoning compliance. Your approval is is basically you are providing the zoning compliance piece of the permitting puzzle. So without zoning compliance on all permitting requests, you can't get your building permits, you can't get what you need, and you can't get occupancy. So if the commission withheld its approval of zoning verification or zoning approval, and the applicant, the property owner, found that they had cause that the county is not administering the zoning regulations as written fairly, then they could file a lawsuit, and essentially it would go through the civil courts. That's how all processes would be. That's what every property owner has the relief valve to go to at some point.
Okay, all right. So sometimes our hands are tied because it doesn't matter if we approve it or not.
What I would say is that typically, really, I think a lot of the advice or sort of some of the things that commissioners are when you look at it is that sometimes the discretion that commissions are given, and that's not just this commission, this is planning commissions nationwide and in the state of Missouri. We're working within sort of a nested hierarchy of not only dealing with zoning, but we're dealing with state statutes and sort of with different case laws and sort of things that have all accreted on top of one another. So there are some times where the discretion of a planning commission is really, really limited. Now, a planning commission can theoretically deny something, but I think a lot of times the advice given is based on case law, based on statute, based on what we know, to properly administer someone's rights, approval is the right way to go. But to say your hands are tied, you always can, you are free to vote in certain ways. We always want to just give you the clearest and best advice about what we think would happen if no matter which way you go.
Clear as mud.
And one of the
No,
things,
I get it. There's just a lot of things to unravel in
Sure.
some instances or
Yes.
circumstances.
yes. And one of the things that I think that over the next coming months, staff wants to, is really open to doing a lot of, if you guys have questions about specific processes, to have either one-on-ones or working sessions where we help commissioners walk through, especially as we look to, at some point, probably in the nearest future, where we're going to have some new commissioners joining at some point with our vacancies. And it's a natural point as new people roll on for us to provide as much education. And if he wants to sort of jump into the education.
If it's helpful, I can read the text from the C8 section of the ordinance that talks about site development plan. It's basically what Jacob said, but it says after passage by the county council of an ordinance authorizing the establishment of a planned commercial district and requiring submission of a site development plan, a plan shall be submitted in accord with the following provisions. No permits shall be issued. Then it says plans shall be submitted to the planning commission for review and approval. These plans shall contain the minimum requirements established in the conditions of the specific ordinance governing the district and the subdivision ordinance. It says that then, they have to be recorded, but it's not a lot of text. But it does say that it is a process they have to go through. And like Jacob was saying, to make sure they meet those minimum requirements of the C8 ordinance to establish the zoning compliance.
And the C8 ordinance is the same for anyone who's wanting to develop that.
Every C8 ordinance is different, but they all have this requirement.
Right.
Mhm.
I understand. So my point was, if we have that situation with anyone else, we can recommend and essentially have them, in this case, add more landscaping. But in this particular case, we can't. And that's where I'm having a little confusion. I understand exactly what you said and what you said, but I'm having a little confusion there as to how it applies one time and not the other.
Sure. I think that this is a really good, maybe Mel, for us to present some information about how, and we can pick on landscaping and just say why the authority of the planning commission to, because you do frequently recommend buffers in excess of what the zoning ordinance requires. But there are some guardrails on that and what the county can impose upon an individual property owner. So, you know, it's a, like we were talking about before, it's a balancing act against protecting the community as well as ensuring that personal property rights are administered fairly across every property throughout St. Louis County.
And that's my point, fairly across all the properties.
Correct.
That's my point.
So I think that maybe we should prepare some information just about, you know, about some of this and about some of the legal undergirding for some of that. You know, from my perspective, when it's a brand new development, you know, it is, the whole entire property is sort of opened up to meeting the requirements and codes of the zoning ordinance as well as the site-specific ordinance. You know, but when it's a rezoning for a site that has already been developed and long developed, it becomes a little bit more, it's really sort of goes hand in glove with how much change are they proposing to the site. And because they're proposing very little change to the site, it becomes much harder to enforce, to force somebody to go in and add a bunch of stuff that they weren't proposing if they're not making many changes to the site. So that's sort of the Cliff's Notes of kind of what we're talking about.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we need a motion to adjourn. We have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. We're adjourned and thank you. Planning.
I guess, would the commission prefer to meet at 4 or 6 a week from today for an in-person meeting?
Should we have all, because we're back in person, 6, just keep it at 6 p.m.? Is that, does that work for the commission?
What's your,
I'm working till 5 right now, so.
okay. 6 as it is.
All right,
Okay, that works.
All right.
great.
We got more technology to work through and see if we can't do better next time.